Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015, whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the you in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy,
where we give you the courtesy of conversation
that's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to catch us every Friday at the Friday Fix at 7 p.m. Plays and parlays, UFC with LT, and Civil Discourse. Sorry, it's been a while, brother. Been a while.
Hey, man, how's your day going?
It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Just finishing up, just trying to get everything in order here. It seems like a lot of stuff is going around or happening around the world. A lot of stuff is going on locally and around the nation. We're trying to keep you guys up to date. They tried to shut us down, but they can't stop the real.
Absolutely not, man. I'm hearing some crazy stuff is going on down near Venezuela right now, which is a flashpoint for us.
Yeah. So we're going to start off with that topic. Venezuelan fighter jets flew over U.S. Navy ship in show of force. Two armed Venezuelan F-16 fighter jets flew over the USS Jason Dunham on Thursday, according to multiple Defense Department officials who described the action as a show of force. The Dunham, a guided missile destroyer, is among a series of U.S. warships dispatched to the region in recent weeks that the Pentagon says has been deployed to target criminal organizations and narco-terrorism. CBS News was unable to determine what actions the USS Dunham took, if any, in response to the flyover. Following the publication, CBS News story, the Defense Department confirmed a statement on X that two Venezuelan aircrafts flew near U.S. Navy vessel in international waters. The highly provocative move was designed to interfere with our counter-narco-terror operations, the statement reads. The cartel running Venezuela is strongly advised not to pursue any further efforts to obstruct, deter, or interfere with narcotics and counterterrorism operations carried out by the U.S. military. U.S. Navy vessels were sent to the waters of Venezuela as President Trump vows to crack down on drug cartels, and tensions rise between Trump and Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The Trump administration has accused Maduro of allying with drug cartels and traffic narcotics to the United States, recently doubling a reward it's offering for Maduro arrest for $50 million. The Venezuelan government has denied the allegations, and Maduro called the warship a criminal and bloody threat earlier this week, deploying drones and warships to patrol the coastline. On Tuesday, the U.S. military said it struck a boat that it alleged was carrying drugs from Venezuela and claimed it had killed 11 people on board who is accused of belonging to the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Is that the according to Mr.
Aragua, Tren de Aragua.
Yeah, according to Mr. Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Now, if nobody saw the video, there's a boat. It was in international waters. You know what I'm saying? And it had 11 people on it. It looked like it had drugs on it. We don't know if it had drugs on it.
Well, okay, when you say it looked like it had drugs on it, what do you mean by that?
Well, they're saying, it looks like it had bricks of drugs on it. No one could tell, and Senator Rand Paul came out too, and he was like, look, man, it's basically a war crime. You know what I'm saying? Because these people are they're allowed due process in this kind of instance. You don't know what was on the boat. Nobody knew what was on the boat. They just blew it up. They killed 11 people. You know what I'm saying? At least arrest them, give them due process, and then you'd be like, hey, this is on the boat.
It's strange. It happened a day prior to, a day before they came out with all this stuff about the Epstein stuff. It's just strange. They're trying to change the news cycle. You don't just blow up boats and say this is what they are without any type of real evidence of what's happening. You just don't do that. But I mean, they said that Venezuela flew a jet over top of one of our two jets. Yeah. Oh, I think they only have about 5 or 6 jets total in their whole entire military. It's not. This wouldn't even be a war. It would be a slaughter. This is more like us going in like we did with Iraq and overthrowing Saddam Hussein and basically trying to secure the oil for. I think this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to secure oil for his, for the people who helped him get into office. This is exactly what this is all about. He's about to go and do a regime change. We all see it coming. You know what I mean? But this is strictly about oil. This is not about Nicolas Maduro being a drug trafficker, because if that were the case, he'd be running into Mexico. What would be the difference? What other place do they have they?
He's skipped past the Mexican cartels and went straight to Venezuela.
I mean, because he knows, and they in Venezuela, who are they? It's a tougher stance with them, because okay, who runs Mexico right now? Who's the president of Mexico? She's a female, but she's also Jewish.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I think their first Jewish president they've ever had. I mean, and also, sorry about that. And also, when you think about it, they're not about to run to Mexico because of that. And also, on top of that, everyone knows Mexico. You're just basically starting a war that, in essence, we don't want to own that war. We would love to own Venezuela. Venezuela has more oil than anyone else on earth. That's like that's the Saudi Arabia of Saudi Arabia, pretty much. That's what everyone thinks about Saudi Arabia. Think about oil. They don't think about Venezuela, because Venezuela doesn't. The production of Venezuelan oil has dropped off a cliff ever since our sanctions, ever since Venezuela went socialist, pretty much. United States, ever since they nationalized all their oil businesses, they basically kicked out all the great big oil companies, and now this is why he's doing this. Remember, we told him, you give me $1 billion, I'll make sure all the regulations are cut off against you guys. We'll make sure there's no regulations. You don't have to worry about anything. They gave him money. I don't know how much. Look what he's doing right now. He probably has his hand in some of this too. But it just is. Go ahead.
It's an escalation of war. First of all, it's like at this point he could just point at anybody. Well, yeah, they were doing this, so we had to take them out. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like anybody. You know what I'm saying? Without due process. Like I said, we're an authoritarian government. You know what I'm saying? A dictatorship. You really don't have any rights anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you saw in Florida where the first lady got arrested because she was talking bad about Israel.
Yeah, I mean, you said got arrested because she was talking bad about Israel.
Mm-hmm. They passed the law in Florida where if you talk ill of Israel, you will be locked up, and she was the first lady to get locked up. I don't know if she got like 20 days or what, but yeah, they locked her up for that. So think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Like, there are no more rules. I don't know. We have to sit here and obey all these crazy laws for some reason, and nobody else does if they have money. And so, I mean, we're in uncharted waters. So we're committing war crimes for oil. So
yeah, I mean, 11 people dead on a boat that we don't even know what was on the boat. Could be, you said it looks like, but what does that look like to anyone? You know, I mean, no one.
The pictures look like the same photos. It's a rocket falling, or the same pictures that when they find a UFO, you're like,
you can't really tell.
Yeah, you can't tell what was on the boat. But I was like, there's 11. It didn't look like 11 people, but and people were like, who knows? They could have been refugees fleeing their country.
It could have been fishing. You don't know what was going on, but you blow it up. You're basically using military equipment to try and provoke some type of a response. So then you can go inside of there. I mean, we're not even trying to take over. We don't even want to own Venezuela. We just want the oil. That's pretty much what this is about, man. Eric Trump becomes a billionaire. The Trump family's crypto bonanza keeps getting bigger. Eric Trump, the president's second son, became a billionaire after shares of American Bitcoin, his cryptocurrency, crypto mining company, skyrocketed in their market debut Wednesday morning, making his stake worth an estimated $950 million at its peak. Eric Trump, listed in a press release as the company's co-founder and chief strategy officer, holds 73 million shares. Forbes estimates, based on analysis of documents filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission, investors traded shares at $8.04 by the end of trading session Wednesday, giving Eric an estimated personal stake of $590 million, worth more money than any of his family's individual real estate holdings. What a morning, he posted on X as the stock ripped early in the trading session, appending two fire emojis. Investors seem to be bidding up the shares more on expectations than reality. American Bitcoin business centers around mining and stockpiling cryptocurrency, a process that requires setting up computers to solve puzzles that unlock Bitcoin. The firm facilitates in energy-rich Texas, Alberta, and Niagara Falls, New York, purchased more than 16,000 Bitcoin mining machines in August. As of September 1st, it holds 2,443 Bitcoin, worth about $275 million at today's price. Almost all of American Bitcoin's Bitcoin stockpile, however, 2,234 Bitcoins were pledged to the company that provided its computers. Despite that, American Bitcoin, which reportedly has just 2 full-time employees in September, is now valued at an estimated $7.3 billion. Sounds like a Ponzi scheme to me. Doesn't sound like this company's really worth what they're saying that it's worth. I mean, you pretty much pledged most of the Bitcoin that you have to someone else. And and you're basically just saying that they're basically giving you a huge net worth and running it up so that you can end up selling it, just like you did with his media company that he had and all the other things that he has going on. It seems like they're just running up the numbers to make it look good versus it being what it really is. You know, 7.3 billion, 2 employees. I don't know any company that has 2 employees is worth $7.3 billion. Do you?
Well, they can label anything they want. I mean, there's someone who was saying that he's he's making the dollar weaker to make himself richer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think about it, he made the Trump coin, he took everyone's money and it crashed, right? I mean, for them, they have the keys. He had the keys to the whole thing yet last time he was in office, and there were so many people stopping him from doing whatever he wanted. And you see now, there's no one to stop any of them. Trump's made over $5 billion since he's been in office, right? Yeah. $5 billion, and he's the sitting president. You know what I'm saying? Imagine when he gets hold of what they already have, the Treasury. You know what I'm saying? What happens when they get a hold of the Fed? There's nothing stopping them. You know what I'm saying? These people are just scamming the system, and there's nothing that's going to stop it. He tried to say, "Oh, we made $17 trillion off the tariffs." You know, that's why they got rid of all these
$17 trillion. Crazy,
man. This man said here, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna give 1,000%. I'm gonna take my what did he say? 1,000% of my pay's going down." Everyone's like, "What?" It doesn't work that way, sir.
I mean, you look at their family fortune has risen by $5 billion since he's taken office just this time. Everyone talks about, oh, he doesn't get paid a salary. Yeah, he's figured out how to pilfer basically the American people out of billions of dollars. I mean, he's creating businesses, he's trading in stocks that he's trading in things that he understands that he's making laws around. He's making crypto laws, and he has his family trading in these things and making his value go up. He has people buying, you know, his cryptocurrency from him as a way of payment towards paying him off. Everyone knows this has been a situation that's been going on for a while, and we really need to start taking a look into this. I mean, his profiteering just off of the presidency, and it's just it's out of control. And I don't think anyone's really
think about it, Wes. Like, if you had a piggy bank that never ran dry, you could just keep pulling and pulling and pulling, because the American people, that's who you're taking it from. The American people. Why would you stop? Who's going to stop you? Who's going to make you stop? Politicians, they're going to wave their hands. He'll just take their power away from them. Nobody's going to. I mean, this is unprecedented. You know what I'm saying? And then I always tell people, like, we need to get at least Gavin Newsom is standing up for the people. And everyone's like, oh, there's things I don't like about Gavin Newsom. Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Get with the program. I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like him at all. He's a horrible person. But you know why? People get behind him. They stick to the plan. You know what I'm saying? And if Democrats, I mean, there's no getting out of this. Like, there's not going to be an election. Not going to be a midterm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
yeah. I've had plenty to say about Gavin Newsom. Don't get me wrong, and I still have those things to say. I'm not gonna fold on him because of what happened and sticking to the program. I get what you're saying, but I mean, to me, it depends upon who's the best candidate for the job. At the end of the day, he seems like a good candidate. That doesn't mean he would represent us in the best possible manner. But right now, he's looking good. Out of everybody who we see, he's probably looking the best.
At this point, I don't even think it's the best candidate, Wes. And I hope you don't feel like I called you out. I don't think so. We need someone who can win. You know what I'm saying? Forget the best candidate. We can settle that up later. We need somebody who can win, who's standing up to what's going on right now. And
Absolutely.
The only person
that
doing
matters.
it is Gavin Newsom. Everyone needs, that's why Democrats can't get past nothing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, I don't like this about this person, and lesser of two evils, and I don't like this policy. Shut up, y'all. That's why you're in this predicament right now. Excuse me, I'm blurring out. You question Kamala Harris for 20,000 different things, and you're about to let a man that took away women's productive rights in. A man that said, I'll grab him by the pussy. A man that doesn't care about the military. The man that makes fun of handicapped people. The man that's best friends with the biggest child sex trafficker in America.
True. All those things are true. I mean, there's nothing else.
Like, well, y'all want to do the protest vote, and look where it got us. Look at us all now. Look at America. Look at it.
We're a great big piggy bank, more or less, man.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. Trump's DOJ is looking at a way to ban transgender Americans from owning guns, source says. In the wake of the Minneapolis Catholic Church shooting, senior Justice Department officials are weighing proposals to limit transgender people's rights to possess firearms, according to two officials familiar with the internal discussion. The talk, describing a preliminary in nature, appears to build on the idea that has gained some currency in conservative media since the Minneapolis shooting that killed 2 children and injured 21. Most of them children at the Catholic Church, an attack that police say was carried out by a 23-year-old transgender woman. Such a move would represent a dramatic escalation of the Trump administration's fight against the right of transgender Americans. President Donald Trump has issued a series of executive orders on the topic, including one barring transgender people from serving in the military and another ordering federal prisons to move transgender inmates to facilities corresponding to their gender assigned at birth. In addition, the idea of restricting gun rights has long been a red line for conservative, which many Republican lawmakers and gun rights group opposing red flag laws and other policies aimed at keeping guns away from people suffering from mental health issues. But Justice Department leadership is seriously considering whether it can use a rulemaking authority to follow on Trump's determination to bar military service by transgender people and declare that people who are transgender are mentally ill and can lose their Second Amendment rights to possess firearms, according to one justice official. So, okay, if you're doing this because of the Catholic shooting, right?
Yep.
Of the school.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to take them from transgender people, you got to take them from young white folks, right? It's only fair, right?
I mean, if you look at who's actually
it's all white males.
The more of the cause, yeah. I mean, it's like he's we all know he's divisive. This is what divisive people do. He's just trying to make it like it's the fault of. He's basically saying they're mentally ill, so that this is why he can do this. Now he's trying to make this happen because he feels being transgender. I mean, next he's gonna say being gay is what's the difference? I mean, like, you know, if you want to, you're not saying there's no difference between being gay and being transgender, which there is. But, you know, I mean, in his eyes, there's probably no difference there. So, you know, I mean, now, okay, if you're gay, let me go ahead and look at the situation and say, hey, might as well take away your gun rights as well, too. Then, I mean, what stops them from going further than that? I mean, because now they're even having discussions in some places that about basically not same-sex marriage, but, you know, marrying across basically interracial marriage. Will that become a thing later on? We say, well, it's up to the states, just like they're talking about leaving that up to the states. What's the difference? It's just we've gotten to a point now that's getting pretty ridiculous about anything and everything that they're bringing up. It's getting really ridiculous.
Right? If they say, hey, being transgender is a mental illness. Like for me, I believe it is. You know, it's a mental illness. I'm not gonna dispute that. That's my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion.
I don't hold that opinion, but go ahead.
That's fine. That's it, and I'm allowed to my own opinion. Does that say I don't like transgender people? No, I have no issues with anybody and what they do as long as they don't harm me. But I mean, where does it stop there? Then they're going to be like, well, if you're a Democrat or a liberal, that's a mental illness. You know, if you like this candidate, that's a mental illness. Maybe if you have black pride in yourself, maybe that's a mental illness. Maybe loving foreigners who aren't American and are taken away from Americans is a mental illness. It's a slippery slope. And, you know, Republicans are always, hey, watch out. The Democrats are going to take your guns away from you. You know what I'm saying? They're going to take your guns from you. Now look at what they're doing. They're proposing to take your guns away from you. And how do they say, like, hey, you might wear an earring, right? And they could be like, well, you're transgender. But no, I only got one earring on. Well, you're transgender. Your hair's too long. You're transgender. You know, who's to say?
Anything could be used in this case.
You're transgender. You know what I'm saying? Where does it stop?
Yeah, I mean, and they've shown no signs of basically holding to any kind of norms or understanding of what things really are. And so we understand. I mean, once that door gets open, that's why I worry about a lot of different things. That's why I've talked about they've had different situations where like, hey, we should castrate this for this, and I'm like, because I know where these things head to. It doesn't matter. I don't agree with that over here, but you know what I mean? Once you open certain doors, there's a slippery slope that you go down to. Now, next thing you know, you got people who just say for anything that they want to say it's for, because this is exactly the same exact thing. You open this door, and where does this head? You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
Yeah. So, you know, we're going to keep you guys posted on that. Pro-MAGA activists published clips of Trump's DOJ official saying Giselle Maxwell was moved to keep her quiet. James O'Keefe, the Project Veritas founder of the longtime pro-MAGA activist, published a clip on Thursday of a Trump's Justice Department official claiming that Giselle Maxwell was moved to prison to keep her quiet. In the clip, an off-camera woman asked Joseph Schnitt, an acting deputy chief of special operations, about the Epstein files and Maxwell, a convicted sex offender and Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice. both those files exist. Both those files do exist, noted the woman. Yeah, thousands and thousands. Or she asked this question. She said, does both those files do exist? She said, yes, thousands of pages though through. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, and leave all the liberal and Democratic people in those pages. Schmidt replied. I think they visited that Maxwell person, kind of also involved. The pressed the woman. Yeah, transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep her quiet, Schmidt claimed. O'Keefe then discussed the tape, adding, that was the acting deputy chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations, Joseph Smith, telling a stranger about, that's the video, telling a stranger about the FBI and DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. Schmidt, who works as a high level inside the Department of Justice, goes on to comment on the inconsistent statements, special treatment for Giselle Maxwell, and the blatant backtracking on promises of transparency. O'Keefe also shared a statement from the DOJ on the tape, which appeared to verify its authenticity. Joseph Smith had no role in the department's internal review of Epstein material. He has confirmed as much to leadership, and we plan to publish his written statement to that effect when we have it. In his own words, the comments Mr. Smith made were based on what he learned in the media, and he has no knowledge of the circumstances surrounding Miss Maxwell other than that what was reported in the news. These comments have absolutely zero bearings with reality, reflection, and total lack of acknowledgement of the GOG review process. The DOJ is committed to transparency and is compliance with the House Oversight Committee's request for documents. Now, excuse me. The last part I just read was a response from the Department of Justice because this video came out. This man works for the Department of Justice, high level. I don't know if you caught that, but he said, look, they moved her, as we all figured, to keep her quiet. And they're going to redact all the Republican and conservative names off the list. This isn't about protecting these women.
Yeah.
Everyone, regardless of what side of the table you're on, what aisle, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party, they all need to get locked up. And you just cherry picking like, hey, don't worry, dude, because you're a Republican, we're going to need your power. So you keep on going and fucking little kids. And we're going to keep.
Hey, we need to, you feel me? I know you're feeling it right now. You know what I'm saying? I know you're feeling that way about things right now, but I feel that. And I absolutely do. You know what I'm saying? Just it's a bad situation. We both understand that this has been a situation that they don't want anyone to they don't want to open this Pandora's box right here. They're afraid to because they know all the names that'll fall out of it. They just had a big conference today about it with a bunch of the victims of Epstein, and they said they're going to come out and they're going to make their own list. This is what they're saying. And they're going to mention the names. They're going to put people out there, and they're going, you said that there was a jet that flew over.
Yeah. And the president had jets fly over their conference. So to drown them out, it's crazy. I just sat here and I thought about this, Wes. The reason these powerful people won't release these names is not only because the people that are on the list are powerful, but imagine the dirt that they have on other people. When they say society will collapse, it's probably right. Because they'd be like, oh, you want to take me down? Well, I know this, and I know this, and I know this. You know what I'm saying? If you got enough money, you could gather enough information. So maybe society needs to collapse. Maybe it does.
It's a possibility. I mean, at this point in time, yeah.
And their excuses, a lot of rich and powerful people are going to go to jail. Good. If you like to sleep with children and they're unwilling, even though it's wrong regardless, you need to get locked up. Think about it. Trump administration, look at me, ladies and gentlemen. Look me in the eyes. It's been, let's say, about 30 days of the Trump administration or the United States government protecting child sex traffickers, child pedophiles, protecting them.
Yeah, they sent one to a camp. Actually, after she gave her what she had to say, they sent her to a nice cushy camp that she's not even allowed to even go to in reality. She's not even supposed to be there. You know what I mean? So we kind of all know what's happening here. There seems to be a push. They said Nancy Mace, which she's a Republican House member, she came out of the Epstein committee, listening to what the victims have to say, crying. She said the first day, then you spoke and said that the next day she came out
defending Trump.
Yeah, I mean, why are we defending Trump at this point in time? You come out of there crying about the situation. You know what I mean? But
that woman, she's like, this is a lot bigger than we thought. Listening to these women's stories, she's like, a lot of rich and powerful people need to go. They already named one of the people. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, we don't know where this is going to go, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, by this time, the stuff could be redacted. They could have
destroyed a lot of the files.
a lot
We
of the
don't know
files.
what's going on. You know what I mean? Hopefully someone's got some backup drives to what is in this, and we can
Well, no,
get
the women,
we
you know,
can
the
get the
women came
full
out.
story.
They're like, we'll just make our own list. We know exactly who they are.
I mean, yeah, but I want to know the full story with the FBI, you know, what the government has too, because they have all this stuff. I want the real paperwork. They said they're one Republic or two Republicans short of forcing them to actually being able to release this. Two Republicans.
And then the one woman came out. She said, and I quote, "Oh, let me find it really quick." She said that most likely this was done. He was working with a foreign government. He was an agent of a foreign government.
Yeah, everyone knows. I mean, the background is all there. Everything. There's a photo of him and Ghislaine Maxwell, and it looked like two people. You know how you have those just regular average everyday people who are just, you know, I mean, just like, you know, like a Brady Bunch type family. It looks crazy, man. Like how they made these two up to look. You know, she used to work for, allegedly, I don't know if it's true or not. I heard she used to work for Disney. You know what I mean? This is something that I've heard. I don't know how true this is. You know, like back in the day, it was one of her jobs. I mean, you know, so this is something that we'll actually have to probably look up. It may or may not be true, but I do believe, you know, I believe it is the way it looked. It looked like it was, you know, and so I'm not saying Disney has anything to do with this or anything. People have jobs all over the place. You got, you know, anybody could be anyone, anywhere, but you know, a lot of times you get people like this who try to be around kids. This is what they do. They may become Boy Scout or Girl Scout, you know what I mean? Type, you know, not saying those people always do that, but sometimes they are.
They're not vetted. There's no way to really vet those kind of people. Like, you don't, it's just like it's somebody that takes a gun and he just, you know, like the shooter of that Catholic church, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the guy that sold him the gun, he was like, yeah, nothing was out the normal. You never know until they act.
Yep, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no test to test craziness. Well, there is kind of, but there's no test to test pedophilia. I mean, I saw one on SVU where the guy, he had the one guy going through the pictures and he was clicking them. He's like, yeah, this doesn't seem like a test. So like, no, the test is to see how long you focus on one picture before you click to the next.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how they catch you. But there's no real test.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you just never know.
Absolutely.
You never know. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep you updated. Don't worry, they can't shut us down. This is Uncommon Courtesy. Until next time.